Welcome to this series of videos where we're going to introduce you to the Guernsey French language in as a pragmatic way as possible, starting from the very basics and moving gradually on to more advanced topics. But first we'll introduce ourselves. So I'm Alan. Guernsey French was my first language and I learnt English to go to school. I stopped speaking it a short while later but started again 2 or 3 years ago.
I'm Alexandra from Guernsey. English is my first language and French is my second language. Guernsey French went extinct in my family when I was a small child. And just a few years ago I wouldn't have been able to identify the language. Within the past year I've started speaking Guernsey French and I've discovered just how fascinating it is.
Okay, I'm Julie. I'm from England but I've lived in Guernsey for a long time. My first language is English and I can speak some French, and recently I've started to learn Guernsey French.
Alright, so now let's go on to the first lesson, which traditionally in language teaching is greetings. In Guernsey French, the standard greeting for someone who we haven't seen for a while is Comme ci l'affaire va.
Comme ci l'affaire va.
Comme ci l'affaire va.
Comme ci l'affaire va. How go things, or how are things going? So in English we might say this in other ways. We might say how's it going? So an alternative form in Guernsey French is l'affaire va-t-elle.
L'affaire va-t-elle.
L'affaire va-t-elle?
L'affaire va-t-elle. So literally, things do they go? Okay. So if someone says this to you, an answer is expected, just as it is in English. If someone said how's it going to you, you might respond very well, thank you. You might say not too bad or mustn't grumble. So almost exactly the same replies occur in Guernsey French. So the first one is Enama bien.
Enema bien.
Enema bien.
Enama bien, very well. And you could add merci, thank you. Enama bien, merci. Next one is pas trop mal.
Pas trop mal.
Pas trop mal.
So pas trop mal, that means not too bad. Another one is faux pas bien.
Faux pas bien.
Faux pas bien.
Faux pas bien, that means mustn't grumble. So obviously there are others, as there are in English. Two that one hears quite often are mi ad mi.
Mi ad mi.
Dmi ad mi.
Mi ad mi means so-so, middling. Another one you might hear is comme un vieux.
Comme un vieux.
Comme un vieux.
Comme un vieux, so that's like an old man. Or female form would be comme une vieille.
Comme un vieil.
Comme un vieil.
Comme une vieille, like an old lady. So if you said pas un bien, that is not very well, people would get concerned and you would expect some explanation of what is wrong, as would be the case in English, of course. So these greetings are semi-formal in the sense you'd only use them for someone who you haven't seen for a while. In many cases, both in English and Guernsey French, you might open a conversation with an observation. For example, you might comment on the weather. You might say, il fait ballonnier.
Il fait ballonnier.
Il fait ballonnier.
Il fait ballonnier, so that's, it's a nice day today. Or if you just noticed them, you might say, te v'la.
Tifla.
Tavla.
Te v'la, that's, there you are. So we'll come across these terms in later videos. Now those are the greetings. What about the goodbyes? So of course many people now say à la prochaine.
À la prochaine.
À la prochaine.
À la prochaine, which means to the next one. These may be the only words of Guernsey French that they know, and it's become a kind of catchphrase. But actually it was used very rarely in the past. As I say, it means till the next. It really means till the next one. And it was used, if it was used at all, it would be on special occasions like Christmas or birthday celebrations to people that you mightn't see for another year or more. So ironically, there's an expression which is used much more and which can be used when you don't know when you'll be seeing each other again. And it's is out jour.
Is out jour.
Is out jour.
Is out jour, which means to the other days. But both it and à la prochaine can be translated as to our next meeting. Now, if you're going to be seeing someone again soon, then you would normally include information about when that'll be. So you might say à jeudi.
À jeudi.
À jeudi.
À jeudi, and that means to Thursday. Okay, and of course you'd put the appropriate day if it wasn't Thursday. Or you might say ad moi.
Ad moi.
Ad moi.
Ad moi, which means to tomorrow. So we might say in English till tomorrow for someone who we're expecting to see the next day. So another way of saying goodbye, which isn't so formal, and it's the equivalent of the English be seeing you, see you around, or just see you. In Guernsey French we say it as nous verra.
Nous verra.
Nous verra.
Nous verra. So literally that means we'll see each other. Or you might say je te verrai.
Je te verrai.
Je te verrai.
Je te verrai, and that means I'll see you.
Com chic la feva. La feva tal. En ama bio, merci. Pas trop mal. Faut pas bioind. Dmi et dmi. Comme un via. Comme un viel. Pas en ama bio. I fait bal on ye. Tevla. Alla peshoin. Is out jour. À jeudi. Ad moi. Nous verra. Je te verrai.
Ah, te voilà.
Comme chic le feva, Alan.
La feva en ama bio.
Le feva tal, Alex.
Faut pas bioind.
Is that your?
Hey, that Joe.
Is that
Is that
sure?
your?
Yeah.
Le fer fatal, Julie.
Faut pas behind.
Et te, Alan?
Ad me.
Ah, je te verrai, Alan.
Oh, and do the news vera. So, at the end of every video, we'll have a chat about what are hopefully interesting aspects of the language. So it could be about general ways in which Guernsey French and English differ, about the history of various aspects of the language, sayings, basically anything that's not about learning the language itself. So we'll start in this video by talking about Guernsey French surnames. Right? They are often pronounced quite differently in Guernsey French as compared to how they are said in English. So first we have to talk about the le, as in Laetitia. If there's a le, it is not used unless there is only one syllable in the name itself. So le page is le page, but Laetitia is simply Tissier. So that means that Mr. Laetitia would just be Mess Tissier. So we've seen that the main form of the name may also be pronounced differently. For example, le page is le page. So here's some more examples, some with an initial le and some without. So Gallion is pronounced Gaillon, Langley is pronounced Logier, Le Pele is Pelai, Keripel is Cheripe, Tostevin is Toadvin, Jihan is Chon, Le Cheminot is Chminat, and Blondel is Biande. So you can see, there's many others, but you can see they are pronounced quite differently to their English versions. Some are not changed that much from the English, however. So for example, fur brush is said more or less the same in English as in Guernsey French. And some which are obviously not from Guernsey may be given a Guernsey French form. So for example, my own surname, McCain, is of Scottish origin, but the family has been in Guernsey for so long that the surname has acquired a Guernsey French form, Mechin. So one can go on. For example, Delamere is pronounced Dlamar. But hopefully this has given you an idea of how the people who had these names actually pronounced them.